but the revenue share organization adds an additional 6 figures to our business. So it's definitely a blessing to have it.
No.
Yeah. And I take that seriously, right? So like, to me, I honor that by giving back to those agents who are in my organization.
Welcome to the Real Estate Investment Nomad Podcast. I am your host, Nathaly Salas, an international real estate expert. Join me as we explore the thrilling world of global real estate. We'll uncover diverse international markets, backed by solid data and engaging insights. Each episode features expert guests from the hottest markets, providing you with the knowledge to invest wisely and successfully. Whether you are a local realtor aiming to go global or an investor curious about international opportunities, this is the podcast for you. Get ready to transform your approach and achieve global real estate success to become a real estate investment nomad. Hello, this is Nathaly with the Real Estate Investment Nomad Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about international themes with Rebecca Soto here. We're super excited to talk to you because you've been, I feel, in the public eye for so long, and you're a great example of what is having a great team and attracting people from around the world.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and to share with you.
Yeah, so first, let's. How long have you been in real estate, and what brought you to think about creating teams? Or your organization has been growing quite a bit, especially in the Hispanic community, with the EXP Latino. So you're gonna share a little bit more your background,
Sure.
who you are, so everybody can get to know you.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I've been in the real estate industry for 19 years. Started together with my husband, and so we worked together from the beginning. Raised my kids through with real estate, and it's been a wonderful career that has really blessed our lives. But I think in the beginning, when we first started, we worked for an independent brokerage for about 4 years, and then we moved to open our own brokerage. And we had that brokerage for about 9 years. That took us through the market crash and even got us through that hard time. And so when we were coming out of that market crash, we were approached by someone to get involved in giving back to the community, and specifically the Latino community. So we joined NAREP, and this organization is the National Association of Real Estate Professionals, of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And we immediately got involved. And in getting involved with them, I learned so much from collaborating, working with multiple brokerages, just putting on these events, educational events to help bring the Latinos into the playing field, right? So to kind of help them be in the top 10% of their markets. And the truth is that as I was giving, volunteering for this organization, what really was happening was I felt that I was receiving, that I was learning, that I was growing. And I learned so much that when I was done with my term, and of course I continued to be a member because I love the organization, I learned about EXP Realty. Now, again, we've had our own brokerage for 9 years. And so we were looking at what would growth look like for us, because to be honest, we were operating as primarily a husband and wife team. We had a few other agents with us. And as I was thinking, how do we grow this brokerage? Do we want to put in, the investment in growing it, bringing more technology, additional staff, training, and all that good stuff that goes with it? Or do we align ourselves with another brand, right? That's a brand that can kind of, a franchise that would help us, expand and grow. And so as we were doing our homework, none of it made sense to us, because when we were looking at and we admire all the traditional legacy brokerages, they weren't doing anything different from what we were doing. So I honestly couldn't see how we would continue to grow with them, and they couldn't tell me how I would grow. And so it just really didn't make sense. It felt like they were operating old school, many of them. And I was looking for something at the time that would take us into the future. And as we continued looking, and at the time I had never heard of EXP Realty, by the way. So, when I finally came across it, I said, this is it. Mm-hmm. This model is what we're looking for. And it was solving for us what we were looking for was more technology, training, support. Those were the things that we were looking for. But when we came in, what we found was a warm family, collaboration, and bigger growth, more growth than what I had imagined. So I didn't come for the rev share. I didn't come for the stocks. Yeah. But when we started to receive that, we're like, oh, wait a minute, I need to take a closer look at that and understand it more. So it's been a really great experience for us so far, and one that we continue giving back. One that I say, okay, so now what do? I want to work with EXP Latino and help our Latino agents in our company to help them be able to grow and scale within the company.
It kind of came natural from the NARA perspective into the EXP Latino. So how was EXP Latino born? I mean, it was like a group of Latino leaders that were like, we should get together?
It was exactly that. So there was this one gentleman that has started it, Juan Alvarez. He started the group, and he had kind of put together the concept and the mission of what he would like to accomplish with this group. And over time, it started to grow. And at the time, there was not a lot of resources in español para nuestra gente.
Yeah.
So it was valued because there was nothing else there yet for them.
Yeah.
And so we started doing like meetups and then masterminds and things like that. And it's grown to be a group. I think within the workplace group that we have around 5,000 agents that are inside of the group.
Oh.
And we've held some fun events at the conferences, and so we've had like the Mangoes night and Havana nights and stuff like that, which everyone is invited, and we love being able to kind of bridge that gap with the Latinos and the non-Latinos. Everyone is invited, everyone has a great time, and I think it's something that has really brought us all closer together.
Yeah, I think last year's Havana night, it was my birthday that night. So I was like, what a better way. Thanks for playing this birthday for me. I was like, welcome to Macquarie. Yeah. No, I love it. And the Hispanic community is so big in the U.S. And sometimes it's, now it's stronger because we're a larger population now, and it cannot be ignored anymore.
Yeah.
And I think, the mission that you had with NAREP and then coming into the EXP organization to just similarly help, the Hispanic community, it's great because sometimes we feel alone. There's not enough content.
Yeah.
And that also translates to the, I think, other countries as well, because I'm based in Chicago, but I cover the Mexico market, the Riviera Maya. And when I'm in the US, I feel like, it's very competitive. So you can never know everything about everything. So it's like, you feel like one more person. When I'm in other countries, I feel like the technology is not there yet, or the best practices are not there yet. So I feel like I know so much more. And I feel like, so there's a lot of knowledge gap that sometimes we assume like, oh no, I'm like everybody else. But then you come here and then you provide all these ideas, and people are like, oh, is that how you guys do it, back home? And maybe we can roll this out from technology to best practices to systems. So have you seen that being the case also on the gap, from within the US, from the English content, the Spanish content that you said wasn't created before? Like, how is this helping the agents, and how do you think that's going to roll out to the other countries that are Spanish speaking?
Oh, I'm excited about that. So I think it's been a huge need, and depending on the regions that you live in, there's some areas that have more coaching and classes for Latino agents, but way too many that don't. So there's a huge gap of agents that are left behind, and they're struggling. They're jumping from one brokerage to the other because they're looking for help. And so we want to be able to create that community and that home for them so that they feel comfortable, that they can continue growing. So this has really helped a lot of agents, especially now segueing into opening FastCap. The company opened it up last year in October for the English speakers. And now this year, we were able to open it up in español para nuestra gente. And it has been amazing. We had immediately 600 agents that had registered. Of those 600, 300 had graduated, which is a big deal because it is a 6-week course that teaches the fundamentals of real estate for all agents. And it's intense. It's 3 times a week. So, you know, you'll have some people that drop off, but to have half of the amount of people that started to graduate, and these are going to be ongoing classes, that is a big deal, that we are helping and serving our agents so that they can have a better experience, so that they can be able to grow their databases, so they can learn how to lead generate and not be dependent on someone else for their leads. And I'm a proponent of growing teams, which I know you wanted to talk more about that, but I also want agents to be self-sufficient, right? So I want to teach you how to fish. So I don't have to give you the fish. I want to teach you how to fish, right? So I think that's what this is all about, is I want to be able to empower those agents so that they can be sufficient on their own. If they want to join a team, that's amazing too, right? So those are great opportunities that we shouldn't take for granted. There's many teams out there that are going to teach you. They're going to provide the leads, but also teach you how to be a contributor and collaborator of the team. It's not just what a team can do for you. It's about how you can contribute back to the team as well.
Awesome. This is super important because sometimes AI is super awesome, but sometimes it hasn't caught up on certain nuances from different countries. Language now is easier than before, but at least when...
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because what does AI do? AI researches the internet for content that's already been published, right? And that's how it gathers the data. However, sometimes there's things that are not necessarily published but are already happening, right? So for what we're teaching with FastCap, that's not published on the internet, so it can't find that, right? So that's something that this is proprietary information that when you come into EXP, you have an exclusivity to this access of these training classes that puts you a cut above the other agents.
Yeah, much ahead, and your language that... And it can be not only from the U.S. agents that are Spanish speaking, but it can be for anybody who speaks Spanish in any other country.
Sure, exactly. And as we continue to develop it here in the U.S., now we're branching off and bringing this content to the global countries as well.
More localized as well, because, you know, like you said, if there's no content created, there's no AI picking it up. The same I feel happens with international markets. When everything is done in paper, you still have to go to the city, get the title, get the deed, and you know, all these things are very manual still in many, many countries, more than what we think. So that content is not out there. Like, for example, I forget, at least in Mexico, that's a main example, because we've lived, breathed that for 4 years. And sometimes you want to hit your head against the wall. You know, how can this not be automated? But you cannot just push a government to do whatever you want, because your agenda of closing...
You can only work within the accesses that you currently have in those regions. So the FastCap course, for example, would have to be changed a little bit to accommodate the global countries. And also it's a very broad training, right? So we're not talking about a specific region. We're talking in general. So we're going to be teaching for Spain. Okay, this is how things are done in Spain, right? Mexico, this is how things are done in Mexico. And so it's going to adjust itself to each country.
No, I love that, because sometimes, like I said, when I go step out, I feel like I know so much. When I go back to the US, I'm like, I don't know enough. and that gap is getting, smaller and smaller as we get to spread this knowledge out. And then back to the team and you, what was the first country that you stepped out? Because you started in Orlando, right?
Yes.
And you had your brokerage in Orlando before you decided to come with EXP. What was the before and after? Because I know some brokers in Mexico, some brokers in the US want to expand to different countries. So they have to set up the company there. They have to do all the... So imagine just setting up within a different state, like another country is a whole different game. And some people are like, I want to expand, but then they do it manually. I feel like I call it manually because they don't know how much effort that's going to take to set up the business before you even operate it. How do you think that has helped you? And what was the first country you went into?
So the first country, so before EXP, we had not done anything globally. And to be honest, I barely had a network in my own town. Right? So this is a huge stretch, a huge leap that we're all taking. But I think through NAREP, I was able to understand better the power of networking and having multiple contacts in different states, right? And I think you probably have experienced that as well with all your traveling as well. But from there, when we came into EXP and we understood what agent attraction would look like, and we had those connections that we had already created from before we came into the company. We started saying, well, what if we opened up in Puerto Rico? We know a few agents out there. Maybe we can make this happen. And so I had an agent in my organization that is a broker in Puerto Rico. And he's like, I have a lot of connections over there. And then he connected me with another agent that we both knew that also had from the West Coast to the East Coast. They both had multiple connections. And we started scheduling. Of course, the time was 2020 and the world had shut down, right? And so we were scheduling Zoom calls, right? And so by sharing the opportunity of EXP Realty with the initial group, which may have been about 20, 30 agents, and then explaining to them, if this is something that you like, that you think we should bring to the country or to the island in this case, then let's do this talk again next week. And I'd like you to invite someone else that you know. So we kept asking them to bring people. And so they kept growing the group. We kept growing the group. And eventually we grew a group that was large enough that EXP said, okay, let's start the process of opening the island, right? And so, I'm honored to have been part of that because this is opportunity that it's opening up for them in the island, right? Before this, most agents in the island, like many of us, right? Like me, I was only working in my local market, right? We just think local. I'm going to do an open house here. I'm going to work this neighborhood and farm this area here. And most of us work within this bubble. But there's a whole world that we can open up to. And so by just reaching out and saying, hey, would you be interested in having that conversation and then inviting several other people to that same conversation, we begin to open up in multiple countries, right? So, after we gathered that group, then they identify somebody who could be the country leader or the broker. And once you have identified that person, that's it. It's happening, So, and that's how EXP, when I first came into EXP 6 years ago, they were open only in 3 countries, which was Canada, UK, and Australia. And in the next 2 years when I joined, they opened up in 22 markets, 22 different countries. So that's amazing and fast without having stepped foot in any one of those countries. So that's the power of having a virtual mastermind and also speaks to the value that EXP was bringing, and those countries are understanding how powerful that is. So why do other countries want to join EXP? Because we have such a large network and the ability to be borderless and to be able to promote your properties to 90,000 other agents. That's amazing. That is power. And all we're looking for is that to have that extended reach for those properties that we have. EXP is the best way to do that, right?
It's amazing because it was so quick and you were like right there, like first from seat.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch this happening.
Exactly. From real seat. And then they opened up the global platform. And what an amazing, powerful tool we have that, okay, we have 90,000 agents. How do you get a hold of them? Well, our global platform gives us, it's like having 90,000 agents in your pocket, right? So like at any time that I want to find an agent in a different market, I can just look up the market that it is, and I find the agents and I can interview them, select one that's a best fit. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing power.
Do you imagine this when you started at the beginning? Because now that, you can share with us maybe a bit, maybe which countries are you in now, like within your downline, how big is your downline, how that has impacted your business right now, that from Orlando to the world?
Yeah. When we started, I don't think, I came for training.
That's right.
Tools, technology, and support. that's all my brain could fathom.
That's all I wanted at that moment.
That's all my brain could fathom at the time. And once I understood the model and I started sharing it, and personally, I have 27 agents in my front line. Of those 27, each one of them, have brought in other agents. A few of them were leaders, global leaders. And so one of them brought in, I think from Spain initially, and then opened up Dubai. And so Dumia is in our downline, which now Ahmed came in under Dumia. So now Egypt is going to be in our downline as well.
Amazing.
And also we have some agents in Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Dominican Republic. So we've been spreading. I think I have some from UK as well. And I have to look in. You lose count. Sadly, you do. And I want to be able to honor each one of those agents.
Yeah.
But it does spread faster than you can realize, And it's from sharing with one person, sharing with people who you see the vision, that have that leadership quality and understand the power of being borderless and just run with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that was, from Orlando to the world, as I share. How does that impact you financially? How, because now you don't sell anymore. Yeah, you're still production, but you still produce it.
So yes, right. So we do have a production team.
Yeah.
And that is separate from the organization, right? I call the organization those agents who have joined in under us, but we still run a small team. And that team sells locally. And we've been able to build it so that we can be anywhere, working from anywhere, which is one of the benefits of EXP, as we can work virtually from anywhere. But we have agents that are boots on the ground that are there to visit or to take a lead that comes in person. So they work our buyers and our seller leads. They're doing our open houses. Yeah. And so I'm super grateful for that opportunity. But even if I don't have someone in the team immediately that can take care of it, I reach out to our partners in our market. So they may not be in my team. But if I have, let's say you were in my market, right? And I've got a buyer and maybe somebody on my team is not available, I'll reach out to you and see if you can handle it, or maybe someone else in the organization, in the state or in the city that we're in, right? Sometimes they're slightly outside of our market, and I'll reach out to an agent that's closer into that market, and we collaborate that way. So I think it's a beautiful thing. We're opening up opportunities for other agents, whether it's a showing opportunity, whether it's an open house opportunity, or simply giving out a referral. I would rather give a referral than to lose the business, right? I'm not home right now. I can't take care of that client, but I will certainly refer it out.
Yeah. No, for sure. And now you're taking a whole month vacation here in Europe.
Yes, exactly.
Because you have everything set in place.
EXP is allowing me to, well, not allowing me, but just giving me that opportunity to have that lifestyle, right? That lifestyle. We are the ones that are in charge of creating that lifestyle that we want.
Yeah, because sometimes money is great, but if you don't have the time freedom, it's like the same as you're tied to your, it's like you're tied to your business, but then you're a slave tied to your business instead of just, I think being able to be wherever you want to be, whenever you want to be, and being able to afford it, there's so many things that are in place that for you to get there, there's some sacrifices that need to be made at the beginning to automate kind of your business in general.
And from having that organization, so we have I mentioned we have the team, and we, certainly are, it's a profitable team that we generate from. But the revenue share organization adds an additional 6 figures to our business. So it's definitely a blessing to have it.
Yeah.
And I take that seriously, right? So to me, I honor that by giving back to those agents who are in my organization. So I'm constantly doing, the same things that I'm doing for the company. So I'm working with FastCap, working with EXP Latino, and I also run our weekly masterminds for our organization as well. And we do our personal events as well. So we're constantly giving back to those agents to make sure that we're doing our best for them, to help them grow. If they're not successful, I'm not successful. So that's what's important to me, is to make sure that every person that I bring in, that they are reaching their milestones, that they are reaching the goals they have for themselves. I want to help you reach your goals, right? And so how can I help you do that?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. It's the giving without asking even, that you truly care for their well-being, their families,
Right.
and their growth.
Right. It's not just about cashing in a check.
Yeah.
I want to help other people and the rest will come.
Yeah.
True.
And thank you so much for your time, because it's so valuable. We know that, time is limited, and you have taken the time here
Thank you.
during your vacation to do that. How can people find you online? What are your handles? We'll for sure put them on the description, but I want to make sure that you do mention.
Sure, absolutely. They can find me on Instagram. I'm Rebecca Soto _legacy. And that's the best way to find me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instagram is the best. So we'll make sure we have the links below. If you have any questions regarding Orlando, US, and how to expand your team internationally, we can reach out to Rebecca. See you guys next time. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Investment Nomad podcast. I hope today's episode has inspired you to explore new horizons in global real estate. Remember, the world is full of opportunities waiting to be discovered. And with the right insights, you can turn those opportunities into successful investments. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us bring you the best content possible. Don't forget to follow us in social media for more resources and updates. Until next time, my friends, this is Nathaly Salas, encouraging you to think big, invest globally, and transform your real estate journey. Safe travels and happy investing.